you can live a life in flow where your deepest heart's desires become reality. At Set to Love, we offer strategies and ideas on how you can stay out of crazy town. See, your human experience is meant to be lived with meaning, purpose, and creativity. You are here to contribute through your essence. We are best friends, moms, entrepreneurs, and above all, find our flow in assisting you to find yours. We come together weekday mornings to bring you ideas to fall deeper in love with your life and the journey that you are on. Take what works and ditch the rest, and always stay set to love. Thank you for being a part of this community. We're all designed to live in flow. So let's go. Think of a time when you were afraid, when you had maybe so much on your plate and you didn't know how you were going to get through it, when you were starting a new job and you weren't sure if you were going to be good enough or you were going to be able to learn everything that you needed to learn, or maybe you're having a baby and you've never had a baby in your life. That's a big life change. How do you get through those times? How do you get through things when they feel fearful? That's what Shelley and I are going to be talking about today. And one of the ways, there's probably several, but one of the ways is by being courageous. So good morning, Shelley. Welcome to Set to Love, another day.
Yes. Hello. Good morning. Hi, all of you viewers out there. We made it through yesterday in election time. So now we have to see what
Sit
happens.
and wait.
Right?
Yep. Just sit and see what happens. I felt like when I was watching last night, I just kept looking at Julian saying, I feel like I'm watching Sports Center. It's like ESPN and it's so weird. It was like I'm watching some reality show play out. I'm like, is this really how this is being portrayed right now with like game boards? And I don't know. Sometimes I just have to laugh at the process and just like, whatever's going to happen is out of my control. I guess that's one way to handle fear is you just have to laugh at it, like step back and see it in its beautiful ridiculousness. And another way is courage.
Courage and fear. I mean, they pretty much go together. I think they're supposed to be friends, actually. When you think about courage and fear and having flow in your life. For me, what comes up is mostly, what are your thoughts? What are you telling yourself? It can be a big deal when it comes to courage and fear. Are you telling yourself this, this too shall pass, or this is, like you said, when you get a bad prognosis from a doctor, do you immediately say, I'm going to die? Or do you have an attitude is, you know what, we're going to fight this and we're going to get through the other side and we're going to be healthy. And, your thoughts really do put you in a fear state. I mean, you and I, if we're honest, I was just talking to you before we started, and just the fear. Sometimes I woke up this morning just with, anxiety a little bit about what my future holds. How are there enough hours in the day? So, even myself, I don't feel like I have it completely figured out. So I think doing this show and talking about fear and courage and your mindset and working together and have positive people to support you when you have those times is super, super important.
For sure. And having just people who have different perspectives than you, because for you, Shelley, to say, I've got this and this and this and all this stuff. And then for me to be able to say, well, what about looking at it this way? Or what about not, like you always say, not tripping over the same rock again? So it's like, I try to think of strategies. Okay, well, what if you think of it this way? What if you change your mind? What if you take on less? It's like, I want to fix it. I want to help you so you don't keep going down the same rows of fear. So that's why we're doing this show. It's like, we want to help people not fall into these same patterns over and over and over again. So like, for example, we were talking and I was saying I have like a broken down bed in my loft area out here, and it's probably been there for 2 weeks.
And I don't know how much longer it's going to be there, but to some people that would drive them nuts and they would get all emotional about it, and that this has been here forever and why haven't you gotten rid of it? And for me, it's like the pain of figuring out what to do with it right now is like, so I just don't have time for it. So I don't care and I don't let it bother me. And I just leave it. And one day it's going to bother me enough to do something about it. And so sometimes I think we do need to sit with that fear. We do kind of need to be in a place until we're like, I'm ready to face this. Like the pain of sitting with the discomfort is worse than what it's going to take to solve it. And so you go into your discomfort and you go into your fear. And then finally you're like, okay, enough is enough. I don't even care. Whatever's on the other side is better than this. And I think that's where courage comes from. Like, you know what? And then sometimes once you commit, like you put that pack on and you head down into that Grand Canyon, like coming out, there's only one way out, and that's through. So it is definitely hard to be courageous. But once you do it and once you commit, once you take that step, it's interesting to see what happens with fear and then how you start to interpret fear down the road when other things come up.
Well, and I think too, Eva, when I'm sitting here thinking about just personalizing this,
Mm-hmm.
I think sometimes when I get overscheduled or, in a which gives me fear or gives me anxiety and I need to get through all of it. When I'm at my worst point, I kind of say to myself, is this really what you want? Like, if you
Mm,
don't change some of your habits or what you allow in your life, this is going to be the result you're going to get. So I also feel like courage and fear, because they're friends, that you basically have to practice on the smaller things in life so that when the big ones come, like to me, when I think about, your bed frame
right,
in
right.
your room, that's a small thing. But if
Yep.
you're thinking about somebody that's going through a divorce or that has had a loss, or how am I going to manage my time better? Even managing your time, or the things that I have, really aren't all that important, but it's
Mm-hmm.
how I'm interpreting it. So, because
Sure.
nothing has that much significance that it should bring me any kind of
But
uh
here's the beauty in going through really hard things is when you're in that really hard thing and you come out of it, because you will. People are resilient, and if you have any ounce of ability within you to just love and hold on, you will get through. And when you come out the other side, when you hike out of that canyon, you realize, oh my gosh, I can do hard things. So when the next thing comes, you can go back and look at that. So go back and look at times when you've gone through hard
yes.
things. Everyone has gone through hard things. If you are an adult, you have made it through hard things. Being a kid, being a teenager, being an adolescent, going through your 20s, having whatever parents you had, you went through hard things. Don't forget that. Don't think I've never been through anything hard. You have. So you will get through this too, whatever this is. It's the mindset that you bring into it. Believe that you can do it. Keep telling yourself, I can get through this. I can get through this with grace. And whatever happens, happens. And just we say go with the flow. Like just go with it. Go with it. Be okay. Because adding crazy onto whatever fear you have, adding anxiety, adding the hustle bustle, oh my gosh, doesn't
Yep.
help. It doesn't help you get through whatever it is you need to get through. So going at it with like, this is what it is, and I'm going to be okay. And I'm going to get to it when I can get to it. And I'm going to do my best. And my best today is good enough.
Well, and then that's why I think too it's important to just, I mean, I have a mental list, but I try to take, when I'm feeling like, because I am, today's a little one of those days, and it's this too shall pass. But I think what I'll do today for my mindset with my courage and my fear is I'm just going to take one thing at a time. What is
Yes.
it that is the most important thing for me to do today that I can still have joy and still be happy? And these are one of those days where I have to tell myself, okay, pull down the thing in the car, and just set it on the shelf and just leave it, because
But try to
sometimes,
enjoy the moments. Like, you're going to a wedding today. Enjoy that. Don't make that like a have to do. Like, oh, I got to drive all the way there and then sit there and blah, blah, blah. Like, yay, you get to go. You get to
Yes, and I
celebrate.
get to
And
spend time with my mom, and I get
yes,
to,
like, look at the beauty in what, like,
yes,
yes, it's going to be a crazy busy day and you have these other commitments and you've got these other projects that are unfinished at home and you've got stuff, but everything's going to work out. Divine timing in all things. So when you can be present with today, with what you can control and the attitude you can bring with it, then you'll have a better day instead of like, let's just get through this, then let's just get through this, and then let's just get through this so I can get through these next things. And so then I can be calm, because that's never going to happen.
well,
That's
yeah,
not
that's
life.
exactly right. I mean, I don't want to just get through things, and I think too, sometimes it's, once you're, if you look at things, you could be a little, have you ever had this happen where you're really crazy before you get out the door and then you finally have all those things resolved? That's kind of a good example of,
Yeah.
wow, okay, everything's is fine. This is going to be
Mhm.
really fun. And so I think too is time management sometimes. um if you plan a little bit ahead, like you're saying, plan for situations to happen, plan for things to possibly go wrong. It's almost like the computer didn't work this morning for me. Once again, my
Right.
internet wasn't working, so we're using my phone. A little bit, you start to let that get in you. No, let's just solve it, do
Right.
blah
Okay.
blah.
So, perfect example. Your light went down, your computer went down. It's like, what can you do? You can use your phone. You can prop it up on some books.
Yeah,
We can
and
still
that's
have a
exactly where we are.
conversation that's meaningful, that matters to someone, that's going to resonate with someone out there. Who cares if your light works? Who cares if you're on your computer or you're on the phone? It's like, those are the little details. And when you can just be like, whatever, we're still here. We are still here. You're
And we're
still
healthy.
showing up. And
Yes,
that's what matters.
that's exactly right. So I guess that's the thing too. You have to sometimes pat yourself on the back and say, look, you're doing the best you can with what you have wherever you're at. And
Yes.
that, I mean,
And get
that's
in
it. I
that
mean,
car and take a deep breath before you drive, because the last thing we need are more crazy people on the road. Too many people do hustle bustle out the door, get in that car, and then hustle bustle down the road. I've done that so many times. I hate being late. So then I'm on the road hustling and bustling, and with that kind of hostile, fast energy. So when you get to those places, it's so like, just take
that's
a
why
breath.
I plan when I go somewhere. I always plan, give myself that 30-minute leeway so that when
Mhm.
I do have to get in the car, that I'm not on it crazy. I
Yes.
always give myself that extra time so that at least it's almost where you're in the car for me and you just regroup. And that's where
Yes.
I
And
kind of
let
get
that
my
be a
center again.
metaphor. Being in your car can be going into your bathroom, can be just turning around a
Yes.
corner and taking a breath, can be stepping outside for a second, like just taking those pauses, being with yourself, realizing, what can I control? What can I say doesn't have to be perfect. I can let go. What is totally out of my control? How do I face this with courage? What would be the most courageous step I could take right now, all things considered? And that might be really little, and that might be really big. So, whatever that is for you, and then reward yourself like, yay, good job, you did it. It doesn't matter how big or small it is, it's just progress. It's being able to pat yourself on the back, knowing I got through this crazy day, I got through this hard time. I can
And
get through whatever comes my way. Start telling yourself that now. I can get through whatever is going to come my way. I am a resilient friggin' human. I'm creative. I'm powerful. I mean, the affirmations, the things you tell yourself matter. And psychology says that an event happens, then you assign a thought to it. And that thought, what you assign to it, will dictate your emotions. So if that thought comes in and you assign it negative, bad, that's where your emotions go. And that's going to dictate your experiences, what we talked about yesterday. And if you can assign at least a neutral or a positive to it, then those are the emotions that you'll feel. And I think you can hold fear at the same time as courage. I think those two things, like you've been saying, Shelley, are friends. You can be 100% courageous and 100% fearful at the same time. And that's a crazy emotion, especially when it's a really high, like a really big fear and something you have to be really, really courageous for, like getting a diagnosis, right? Not just being late for something or maybe having to tell someone how you feel and it might be uncomfortably awkward, right? Like something, it's like they go together. The amount of courage you have to have is dictated maybe by the amount of fear of whatever that situation is for you and the thought you assign to it.
I also think it's the last point on this for today is to be vulnerable is courageous. And to not only have your fear, but be courageous to even admit that you might have a problem with something or that you're fearful of something and have that person to go to for someone that is safe for them to listen to you, because it's not easy to admit your fears sometimes,
So
or
true.
that you're not managing things the way you would really like to. So for me, I feel like for everyone, I'm with you. I'm learning too, and I try to get it right.
And I
And
think that's so important, Shelley. Think about those people in your life. Does this person love me? Does this person have my best interest at heart? Like,
yes,
no matter what you say to me, I love you. I have your best interest at heart. I want you to be happy. So, whatever I say, take it or leave it, it's always coming from a good place. And
yes,
so I think I really hope our audience feels that way too. Like we genuinely just want to give you tools and resources to be able to help you to live in flow and take what works and ditch the rest. And if we say anything that ever you're like, no, then maybe that is a no for you. We're all unique. And what we need right now in our lives are going to be different. And that's okay. So take what works and ditch the rest so you can stay set to love.
I love that.
All right, Shelley, you want to take us out today?
Yes. Okay. Set to love. Ways that you can support us. Please visit us at www.setToLove.com. If you'd like to be featured, please email us at settolovepodcast@gmail.com. You can also subscribe, like, make a comment, hit the bell at www. Well, I think I got 4 in there. So it's www.patreon.com /set-to-love. You guys have a great day. I'm sending big hugs.
Big hugs, everyone. Love you so much. Thanks for being here.